Africa was a gift that Denise, my wife Denise, got from her dad. So we have been living there since 1996. I had the fortune of being, whether it's a fortune or unfortunate, I believe it was a very fortunate thing. I got into politics when I was a kid, when I was a young student throwing stones at policemen and doing all the things like that because we wanted to fight apartheid. And in 1994 I was elected into the provincial legislature. And I was in politics until May last year when I retired and I saw that I couldn't protect people that were stealing money. And therefore I left it. So what happened was that I do believe that we've got a very beautiful piece of Africa and we thought it was an appropriate place to do it. So the journey begins like this. On this farm we attempted many things. In this little building here we had factories, we tried to build furniture out of invasive species, we tried to make a whole lot of stuff and we weren't really getting traction. And so we thought what should do. Meanwhile, in 2007, I was appointed as the administrative head of Limpopo Treasury. And it's part of the story, that's why I have to tell you this. It's not because I want to give income. So during that period in 2007, about 2009, the then Premier, Governor Matali, instructed the DG of the province to tell me to give him 40 million rand to build a TV studio in his office in Bulungwane. And I responded to the Premier, to the DG by saying, "You're crazy, that's not a priority." Well, I was forthwith told to dissolve. And my contract was extended, and what happens in this organization is you then get redeployed. And I was then redeployed from being head of treasury to be the CEO of Limpopo Tourism. So there I was in Limpopo Tourism 2010, and I was thinking I was doing a fantastic job. The next minute on my table landed 27 charges. So these guys are trying to screw me. It's about being purged. When you play politics, these things happen. So you've got to have whatever you've got to have to do these things. So they smashed me with 27 charges, and most of them was that I was a liar and whatnot. They're all trumped up kind of things. Anyway, I had to, like we all have to do, I had to get a lawyer. And I couldn't get a lawyer from Bulungwane because they all compromised. I had to get a guy from Josie, and of course he didn't come cheap. And so then we went into this discussion, and of course the guy from Josie said, "Take these guys to court." By then I'd already paid him 75,000 rand. I wasn't earning anything, and I thought to myself, these guys said, "Okay, come to the deal. We'll give you five months salary, and we'll give you your pension." And I said, "Thank you very much, I'm out." So I got home here. And when we got home, obviously we had very little income coming in. So Niece and I sat and we wanted to know what we were going to do. So we said, right, let's make a wedding venue. So we changed this place here, that was a very dark place, and we started changing this into a venue. In fact, Lucas 21st we had that was our first event that we had when Lucas 21. So we had and then we had weddings. And each wedding, these people kept on saying to us, "We don't want SAP beer, we only want craft real beer, real beer. We only want craft beer." So we started bringing in beer. In fact, there are festivals here. So we would do festivals, and at those festivals we would only sell craft beer. So one particular festival that we had a berry festival here, because people grow blueberries here. So we have a berry festival, and this particular berry festival, Luca was on his way back from Cape Town, and I had to phone him and say, "Luca, listen, you're on your way back. It was a Saturday morning. Please go to those guys that sold all the taps and all this, to the tap room." I said, "Go to the tap room and go pick up as much beer as you can and come down with the beer." And we smashed all the beer that we had. So that sort of got me thinking that why am I bringing in beer from Josie? By the way, there was a brewery called Smack Republic. I think they made an extremely nice blonde. It was a good blonde. It was a really, really nice beer. We sold lots of it. Anyway, so we thought to ourselves, Niece and I thought to ourselves, well, let's do something about it. At that stage, Luca was trying to finish his degree, and he was an au pair in Cape Town looking after little kids. And I chatted to Luca and I said, "Well, why don't you do a brewery?" And Luca said, "That's a fantastic idea." So I then started the process of getting a license. Fortunately, because I've been in the administration for so many years, the guy that was the secretary of the liquor board in Limpopo was a good friend of mine. And I went to him and I said to Betty, I need licenses. So he said to me, well, what license do you want? I said, I want an off-sale license, I want a distribution license, and I want a brewing license. He said to me, okay, this is how you're going to do it. So he gave me one of these officials, and this official lady then sat there with me and showed me what I should do. So I did all this advertising, and got in Gazette for I don't know how many days, this, that, all those kind of things. In the meanwhile, Luca was finishing off in Cape Town, and we all know that our kids don't necessarily get a job. So I said to Luca, what do you think? Why don't we do this? And Luca was keen. So he started empowering himself down in Cape Town. And ironically, again, one of these things happened where Luca walked into a pub in Cape Town and sat down, and he sat down, the guy was sitting next to him, and they started talking to each other. And this guy said, his name is Nick Bush, who owns Zwakala Brewery. And Nick turned around to Luca and said to Luca, oh, I'm actually on my way to China to go and get some brewing equipment. Luca said, are you kidding me? We also want to buy brewing equipment. How's that, eh? God works in strange ways. Or your ancestors. So what happened was that they then chatted to each other, and we said, I said to Luca, well, tell him, we definitely want to get this thing. So with that, in 2013, actually going into 2014, we got the phone call to say, you guys have got a license. Okay, so I then chatted to my very, very good old mate, Nev Wilson. Nev and I were at school together, and Nev runs a pipe blending company in Springs. He blends pipes, big pipes, massive pipes. And it's a pretty technical kind of thing. He said, I'm in with you, Rob. I'll go half. Fortunately, I just turned 55, so I said to the pension fund, what was that? Give me my quota. And I took my quota, and Nev said, I'll come and I'll meet you. So we took the cash, we put it together, and off Nick went to China, and with it, it took him 6 weeks in China to travel around until he discovered what we've got up there. He said, right, this is what we want, and they got a $25,000 discount. So $25,000 alone. Well, so we brought in those 2 pieces of equipment. Luca came back to the farm in about 2013, end of 2013. 2015.
2013 I was in the country.
Okay, 2015, correct. And we then started, not me, Luca then had to start sorting out that. So what happened in 2014? Because I have to go and tell you what happened in 2014. So in 2014, if you remember politics, any of you that follow politics, Matali and crew was suspended because they were all corrupt. They were suspended and they put in an interim government, and I was then called into the ANC to be part of this, what they call a provincial technical team, to sort out the corruption that was there. And I got again involved in politics. But my intention, I had an intention, and that intention came true. I said, damn you, I'm going back into politics because I want my 5 years of pension. Because you screwed me then and I did nothing wrong. So in 2014, when we get the license, I then get re-elected into the legislature. So I said to Luca, well, this is your baby now. I'm out of here. I'm going into politics. Because, all those kind of things. So it pretty much landed on Luca's lap. But in the meantime, what happens is that we get this phone call from this lady who lives in Lone Hill, and she says, I'm taking all the windows out of my house because I'm replacing it with aluminium. Are you interested? So I said, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do these windows, but anyway, I'm interested. So we go and have a look. So she's got a modular mansion in Lone Hill, and she's taking out all the wooden windows. No, the ones in the brewery.
Nice, the lead crystal.
So then what she does, we arrive there, we have a look at everything, and she phones me 2 days later and she says, the contractor says to me to give me 15,000 rand for the windows that you now met it. So I met it, I had 15k. I gave her 15k and 2 8-ton trucks worth of windows came down. So we parked them down there in our storeroom, and Lucas started building the house. But at the same time, my mate Nev said, listen, I've got a shed inside one of my warehouses. Why don't we use that? So that was then collapsed, put on a truck, and brought down here as well. How we constructed that shed, which is now the frame of the brewery, health and safety probably would have banned us and kicked us out. I mean, Luca was up at the top there with nothing holding him, getting his jeans up and everything like that. Anyway, we used the bell and we used the forklift before I was so we got this thing up and we built this thing, and by the time we built it, we threw on the floor. And we paid a lot of money for that red floor that you saw there. I'm sure you all, any of us that run a brewery will know those red floors are a fortune. Yeah. So we did that, and then along came this Pantechnica. Down the Trigger Road, up there, and here it arrived with all the equipment in this thing. And I've got a photograph, I should actually have it there for you. I'll look at looking in this thing and trying to get all this shit out of this thing. Anyway, we took everything out, and we packed it all very neatly there, and we waited for a gentleman by the name of...
With it?
Yeah.
The stuff arrived before we finished building.
Okay.
So for the construction site, with all the equipment in, there wasn't a floor in the tasting room, there was just a floor in the brewery.
Really, yeah.
It was a fucking...
No. So there all the stuff was, and then suddenly this chap arrives and his name is Wayne Finn. So Wayne Finn don't speak any English. Thank God for Google Translate. I must tell you, in our family we have a tradition. That campsite where you guys are camping, every Easter belongs to us. We go there for Easter. We're not like a camper. We all go there and we camp there for the whole week, and we smoke and we drink and we do everything that's just not supposed to do. And when Finn arrived, I think this time, fucking hell, what are these people doing? Well, pitch dark, big fire, lots of beer, lots of marijuana, and everybody. When Finn couldn't believe his eyes. He was stood there, he looked at the fire. Apparently in China, you don't make a fire in China because there's no wood to make fire. So Wayne Finn was beside himself. Anyway, Luca brought him up and he stayed in the house. We had our usual Easter weekend, unbelievable. And Wayne Finn came down every now and then. What I was concerned about Wayne Finn, every time he went past the dog, he was like, like this. And then we went, so he puts up that whole brewery by himself, by the way. Nobody else helps him. Luca does this and that. Actually, he does everything himself. But when he starts getting a bit touchy and not doing what he's doing, first thing Luca would do is go and buy him cigarettes. He loves cigarettes. The second thing, when he really didn't do anything, you go and you say, wait, we take you to Joburg. He was shit scared. He said, Joburg? No, Joburg, no, okay. Joburg, no, okay. He said, so when are you going to finish the brewery? He said, tomorrow. Tomorrow? He said, no, but you must do this thing fast. I think we must take you to Joburg. No, Joburg. Anyway, Wayne stayed with us for about 3 weeks. So in those 3 weeks, my niece used to have conversations with him late into the night. Google Talk, or Google Translate. Obviously, Google Translate, as you all know, you say something into Chinese and say something completely different. Whoa, that's not what I mean. Whoa. That's what I meant. So it was like a really interesting discussion with Wayne Finn. Anyway, when Lucas started his first brew, Wayne Finn thought that he also participate in the first brew, and he'd take this machine. Lucas said, no, we don't make beer like that in South Africa. That's how we make it in China. We don't make it like that. Anyway, so it was a very interesting thing for Wayne Finn. And then, of course, we had to get a boiler, so we got a second-hand boiler from the guys in Johannesburg. The boiler came out and that was put there, and then we had to have a fridge. So, as you'll see at the back of the brewery, we got a truck, a fridge that goes on the back of a truck. And then we saw the budget was starting to really come to the end. So we had a lot of money running out. Because when we started the tasting room, that's what we used as our bar, those lug boxes. We didn't have anything. I mean, it's just like that's how we got going. And then we decided on the name. Obviously, before we got the brewing equipment from China, we had to come up with a name. So that campsite down there was our original campsite for our very first Easter weekend. As you know, Easter in Limpopo is quite a thing because 5 million people come to Muria. So my guys that want to work on the farm used to say, get out of Rob's church. So we used to, and then I called it Zwakala. And Luca and I and Lisa were just sitting, so what are we going to brand our brewery? And we decided the name Zwakala. We thought it was appropriate because it's we're in Africa. I thought the very English name would not be appropriate. And we liked the name, and I think subsequently we can say in hindsight that it has got some serious traction, and we really like it. And that being our main brand, our Popo Lager, as you can see, and that moves. So our first brew came out in June 2016. So June 2016 was our first beer that we sold in our tasting room. When we started our tasting room, we had no kitchen. There was nothing there. All we did was sell beer.
We brought ourselves.
We brought ourselves. And then slowly, of course, as you say, we organically grew. We slowly organically grew. This place started smashing weddings one after the other. And it was fantastic. So we could bring a lot of beer here, sell a lot of beer here. And it just made sense that we could do that. This year, had COVID not happened, I reckon I would be a silent dude. But COVID happened. So it's just one of those things. But as you all know, in COVID, we couldn't sit and look at the beer in tanks. And ironically, what happened is that something that just happened. Luca had ordered beer, a bottle of beer, our beer, from Josie, because we bottled it there and then brought it up here. And as it got here, we had that whole fridge full of beer. Within 3 weeks, there wasn't a beer left. We didn't want to be criminals.
That's pretty nice.
No, nice. And then remember there was a lifting of lockdown, and there was lockdown again.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So that lockdown came on a Monday. Remember you said to us on the
Sunday night. Immediately.
No, that's it.
Didn't call
There was
lockdown.
a truck down in Cape Town that was loading our beer that particular Sunday. And those guys came up to Josie, and then on Tuesday morning, the truck came in onto the farm. And myself, Luca was selling beer somewhere else, doing something. Myself and the two guys that worked for us were offloading 4 pallets.
It was 6 pallets.
6 pallets into the fridge. We offloaded. We just finished offloading this pallets, and we had a whole 2 pallets of wine in the brewery. And I'm standing there counting the wine, brewery, now all the beer's in the fridge, and it's done. We locked the fridge, and I'm standing there, and I've got my 2 oaks that work with me, and this little oak, his name's Stavros. His name's actually Mustafa, but we call him Stavros. Stavros is standing next to me, and I'm looking this way, and he's looking out the window, and I hear him go, Kalo is old man. Hey, Kalo. So I look at him and say, what's wrong? He says, and he's pointing out the window, and I turn around and go, heck, the fucking cock. Something was wrong. Okay, so what I do is that I do what most people do. I walk out the door and I choose to lock the door. The big door at the back. I lock the door and I walk out the door and I walk straight up to the police. And I say, and it's a captain of the local police station. Good morning, Captain, how are you doing? And we have a chat and everything like this. And he's got his colleague in the car, the lady. He says, no, the lady needs to go to loo. So I said to the lady, well, you know it. He says, I'm not going to let her walk to the brewery. So I walk around like this. So she goes around like that, and I think it's okay. And then I dropped my name. I said, "Do you remember who I am? I was at EBC for finance." It fucking shakes me out. I'm gonna use my name now as the EBC for finance in the boat. You see, so like it's all like really well. And then the lady comes back, and then they get into the car, and off they go. I think, oh my God. And I open the door again, and we start carrying on counting how much wine we got. The next minute, the staff was saying to me, "How did that go up with?" They told me that. Computer. I walked out the door, and I think, I'm going to stop this like again. So now he sees me walking up the road, up to the parking lot there, and he stops a little bit way away again. He jumps up the car, and he runs up to me, takes his hat off. He says, Mr. Tooley, I need your telephone number. Okay, here's my telephone number. We carry on making beer. So, yeah, those are the things that happened to us in lockdown. It was very interesting. So what we have done now is that in this little short period of us running this craft brewery, we've achieved quite a bit. Firstly, we got our first gold medal for the best lager in South Africa in 2016. In 2018, and Luca can correct correctly, we got 2 silver medals, one for our Moringa and one for our Vice. And then last
Ale.
sorry, for the ale. And then last year we got a gold medal for the best light lager in the country. So, which is a nice accolade, I believe. It's a really cool thing. So having a brewery here, as I said to you, our first risk is the road. The other day, as you would all know, Mr. Mbuweni lives here on the mountain, the Minister of Finance. He lives just on the road. Yeah. So the other evening, Lisa and I lived on the farm.
The pot farmer.
The what?
The pot farmer.
No, he was the Pope as well. So Lisa and I were sitting on the veranda there. I think, we were drinking a bottle of Buddy. Every now and then I just like shit with a celebrate as well. So we're drinking a bottle of Buddy and I took this big fat stuff to see these Benz drive in here. And the driver's in there, drives up and parks with this car and I think, fuck. Really, it didn't bother me on the Thursday night. Having a go, anyway, I got to the car and I walked up this comrade. Comrade. So that's the first thing he says to me. He says, comrade. So I said, imagine, what are you doing here? So now he says, I come to visit you. And of course, he's like completely brought about this code. There's something on his face. I said, where you going? No. So anyway, he gets up and he says, God, this is a beautiful place. He stretches like this. That is a beautiful place. So I said to him, we chat, and we chat about this, and we chat about that. And then he said, oh yes, about your road. So I said, yeah, I'm looking at you, you're the man that holds the process is done. Don't even think about it, my friend. People come and visit you, you must fix that road. Nobody else is going to fix that road. So it comes back to my point, you're on your own, South Africans. You're on your own. Don't think that anybody's going to come and look after you. You're very, very much on your own. So it comes back to, we've got to sort the road out. The other, why we built a brewery here, is that we have amazing water. We probably have very, very, very sweet water. I like to call it sweet water. So it's really good sweet water. We don't have to add anything to our water. We don't have to, other than the salts when we make the beer, but we don't have to add anything else to our water because it's such good water. We have a challenge. You may have noticed or not noticed, but we have a massive encroachment of industrial farms on this mountain. So the big guys, I'm talking about the big guys, I'm talking about the third biggest farming operation in the world called ZZ2.
Tomato!
And then all the big grootboere from Let's Tell You. So the big citrus farmers, look, those boys have made so much money, they don't know what to do with it. You can imagine the citrus guys have made so much money in the last 5 years, they don't know what to do. So this mountain is traditionally a commercial forestry mountain. Because of our woolling industry and the very slow economy that we have, a lot of guys have kind of got out of commercial forestry for a number of reasons. You must remember your rotation in a pine forest is 25 years, and the new goal is apples. I mean, veganism is just this hectic thing. Everybody thinks that a vegan is looking after the land. But meanwhile, everybody's trying to have one avo plant needs a number of liters of water, believe me, to stay on that tree. This is the headwaters of the Letaba River. The Great Letaba River, this is where it starts. So, my fight with these big guys is that, they always tell you, but it's not big guy anymore, it's not pine. Remember, pine tree doesn't need to be irrigated, it doesn't need to be sprayed, it doesn't need to be managed like you do an apple tree. An apple tree, once that thing comes into production, believe you me, that farmer's not going to irrigate that thing when the thing's got fruit on it. So this little river here is under serious threat. We have started a civic organization because we know that this river is under serious threat, and besides serious threat, the quality of water, because we have lots of nitrates running into the water now, and we can already see it. We've been swimming in this river for the last 26 years, and I've seen it within 26 years how much more algae is growing in the water.